Hello planner friends, in this video we are going to compare the Hobonichi Cousin and the Sterling Ink Common Planner. The goal is to analyze these planners across various aspects, from layout to paper quality to cover to whatever, so that you have a better idea of how they are similar and how they are different, which could make your choice easier. So let me get these planners out of their covers so that it's easier to see. Here we have the Hobonichi Cousin, and here we have the Sterling Ink Common Planner. Now I don't have these planners in the same size, as you can tell. The Hobonichi Cousin is an A5, this is a B6, but this size does not really impact this comparison that much, so let's just dive into it. So I got my Cousin out of its plastic cover so that you can see it better, because the first point of comparison is going to be the cover. So obviously this planner has a cardstock cover and it's yellow, and the binding is like a yellow tape that you can see. And the cover of the common planner is textured. Now, the new common planners for next year have a different cover, and I unfortunately can't show you that because I don't have one yet, but it is a different kind of cover. So I think the next year's cover are going to be more like a leather type of thing. So like not real leather, but you know, like a more like this kind of thing. So this is more like a paper feel, and it's also not very thick, but as I mentioned, I think the cover for the next year's planner is going to be different. But nonetheless, the covers of these two are completely different. So the Hobonichi Cousin is going to have the cardstock cover for next year, and the common planner is not going to have a cardstock cover. So if that is something that is important to you, you might need to consider that. The covers still hold up pretty well, especially if you put it into a clear cover. The Sterling Ink also offers clear covers for the planners, which fit them perfectly, so that is also an option for the common planner. Now, if you want to talk about paper, the common planner and the Hobonichi Cousin both have the Tomoe River paper. So the paper is very thin, it is very light, and it is perfect for fountain pens. So that is something to keep in mind if you like to use fountain pens. Both of these are pretty well suited for that, and the color of the paper is pretty much the same. It's white, it's not cream, or at least I would say it's white and not cream. Compared to the Hobonichi Weeks, which is cream, you can definitely tell that this paper and this paper is white and not cream. So if that is something that is also important to you. Now, for the grid, the Hobonichi Cousin has a grid of 0.4-ish millimeters, I would say. And the common planner has also, so they do kind of have the same size grid. However, I do not know if the A5 common planner has a bigger grid. I'm gonna leave it on the screen so you can know. Now, when it comes to sizes, if you're talking about sizes now, the Hobonichi Cousin comes in an A6 and an A5. The common planner for next year comes in a lot of different sizes. So it comes in an A5, a B6, a passport, a standard traveler's notebook, a week's size, and I think that's it. So a lot of different options there, not a lot of options with the Hobonichi Cousin. However, maybe an A5 is your size anyways, or an A6, so maybe you don't even need a passport size or a week size. so that might not be a problem for you. Now when it comes to layout, so the Hobonichi Cousin has a lot of different pages. So first things first, there is like a year at a glance page at the front. We have this index kind of page. We have the monthlies, then we have weeklies, and then we have dailies. And in the back, we have a lot of different kinds of other pages that are included. So that's the layout of the Cousin. Now for the common planner, I have an undated one, but it's not gonna change much about the layout actually. So I think there is a year at a glance page in the front of a dated common planner. I'm gonna insert a picture if I can find one. And then we have these goal setting pages which we don't have in the Cousin. And then we also have these quarterly planning pages. So we have 3 months at a time, priorities, and then the 3 different months, and then also 3 different months over here, which is dated in a dated version, obviously. And we have 4 of these in a normal full year planner. Now we have the monthly pages as in the Cousin as well. And then we have the weeklies, which is very similar to the Hobonichi Cousin. It is a schedule type weekly planner. And then we also have the notes pages in the back, which are just empty. So the biggest difference in layout between these two is the back portion of the planner. So the monthly and the weekly are pretty similar, but the biggest difference is that the Hobonichi Cousin has dated daily pages. So each day of the year has a whole page dedicated. The common planner does not have that, so it just has blank notes pages, so you can put whatever. You could put a day per page and you would have enough notes pages if you have the regular version of the common planner, so not the compact size. The compact size has, I think, half the amount of the notes pages, so you could only fit half of a year onto the notes pages if you would use 1 page per day, or if you use 2 days per page, then you could fit the whole year. Obviously, if you don't use the pages for anything else. So that's the biggest difference in layout. So this is probably a pivotal point for a lot of people. If you feel like you like to have a page per day dated, then probably the Hobonichi Cousin is a better choice for you. If you like the freedom of not having to fill out a page per day, if you don't feel like, then maybe the common planner is a better choice, because then you can use your dailies or structure your dailies however you want, and you don't have to put 1 day per whole page. Now, another difference between these two planners is, I would say, regarding to layout and minimalism is what I'm gonna call it. So the Hobonichi Cousin is, when it comes to the weekly layout, it is pretty minimal in a way that it does not have a lot of color. There is this red and there is the red over here, but other than that, it's pretty neutral. And the common planner is also, well, the common planner in its entirety is a very neutral, minimalistic, elegant planner. There is no color in it. It's all black and white, and it's very faint and small when it comes to writing. So it is very easy to decorate around the faint layout, and it's not gonna intervene with whatever you want to put on your page. When it comes to the Hobonichi Cousin, it's not like that. So even though this is only 1 block of red, if you hate this, then you know that's a problem for your decoration. And also when it comes to the daily pages, each month has a different color, and that color is present not only on the date here, but the whole grid is in that color. So let me flip to an empty page so you can maybe see it better. So October is purple. This is purple. The whole grid is purple. The writing is purple. Everything is purple. The quotes are purple. So it's not the easiest to match that for a whole month. If it doesn't bother you that it's purple and you can just ignore it, then that's totally fine. If you can't ignore it, it's going to be stressful to decorate around it for a whole month. Now, another difference between these two are obviously the quotes. So the common planner, because it's a very minimalistic planner, it does not really have any kind of decoration or anything like that. The Hobonichi cousin has these quotes on every day of the year. Now, not only does this take up space at the bottom of the page, which you can use in a common planner because there is no quote on there, but I have the English version and I thought I would get the English version so I can have a little bit of a value out of these quotes, but I have to say most of the times these quotes are kind of nonsensical, and a lot of people like them because they are quirky and that's fine if you love that and you like look forward to reading the quote every day and you like that it's like a little bit of nonsense sometimes, then that's totally fine, and then this planner is totally your thing and go for it. If you don't like that and you are bothered by the quote and you feel like that's a waste of space and you always cover it up, you never like the quote, then maybe this is not your kind of planner. Also, it has a calendar on every second page, which, I mean, I guess it's practical, but also if it bothers you, then obviously it's not practical at all. And another thing that the Hobonichi cousin has is this schedule on the daily, which you can ignore, and I do ignore it every time because I don't need a schedule for a day. But yeah, maybe that is a feature for you. Maybe you like that it has a schedule for every day that you can use. So maybe that is something to consider if you choose between the two. Also, it has the moon phases. I mean, I could go on and on about the daily page because obviously that is the biggest difference between the two planners, because the common planner does not have any type of daily page. So everything that is on these pages is a difference between the two. But even on the weekly page, it's a lot more minimalistic in the common planner. Obviously, this is an undated one and I dated it myself, but I dated it according to how the dated one looks because I wanted the experience. And both of these planners, for example, say the month, and it has the number of the month as well and which week you are on. And both of these have a calendar actually, so that's why I put a calendar on here, because the common planner also has a calendar if it's a dated version. So this part is still hugely different between these two. Obviously, you have a huge block of dark color over here, and also it's going to have Japanese symbols. So if that is something that you don't like, even if it's the English version, it's going to have the Japanese symbols. It's going to have the moon phase if it's like something like this is a new moon, so it's on here. And as I mentioned, it's going to have this red thing over here. So there are a lot of differences even between the weekly pages. Now, when it comes to the schedule on the page, the Hobonichi cousin goes from 5 a.m. to 4, so it's a 24-hour span. The common planner, the B6 version is what I have, goes from 6 to midnight. The A5 version I have to look up and I'm gonna put on a screen, but there are extra grid spaces over here and here, so I guess you could still add like to go from 5 to 1. You could make that work. So that's also a difference between the two. So now when it comes to price, the Hobonichi cousin you can get on the official Hobonichi website for I think around $30. The common planner is around 50 if you're only talking about the price of the planner. Now, shipping from Japan costs money. If you're in the US, shipping from Japan is going to be more expensive, while shipping from Sterling Inc. to you is going to be less expensive because it's US to US. I'm in Europe, so shipping to me is expensive from both places. But maybe that is something to consider. If shipping is not something that bothers you, then maybe just consider the price of the planner. I'm going to list the prices if I can find them on here as well, so you can easily reference that. But the cousin is a bit less expensive, and you can get it on Amazon, I think, and on JetPens and other websites as well, so you don't have to pay shipping from Japan. However, obviously the prices on Amazon and JetPen and so on is going to be more expensive because they do add the shipping from Japan. So you have to, you know, research and see which one is which one is less expensive. And also keep in mind that you might have to pay duties and taxes if you order from Japan. So that's also something to consider. So now let's talk about a little bit about my personal experience and my tips and tricks, I guess, and my choice for next year. So I started using a Hobonichi cousin this year for the first time. So this is my first Hobonichi cousin ever. I do love this planner, and it does really help with my life. And I am slowly starting to figure out how to use it the best for me. So it does kind of work at the moment. And I also just really, I have an emotional connection to this planner because I guess because it was making me use it every day, or it was trying to make me use it every day, even though I don't, as you can tell, I have a lot of empty pages. But, you know, I was kind of, you know, pushed to use it. And so a lot of my life this year is indeed in this planner, which did kind of make me love it. But on the other hand, I am also stressed from this planner. But on the other hand, I am also stressed by this planner a lot because of the empty pages, because I can't fill it out every day and it bothers me a lot. I don't like wasting pages. And even though I can fill them out later, like I did with these pages, I just filled them out later when I had something to put on them. I am still bothered by it. So I did choose a common planner for next year because it eliminates the need to fill out a page per day. But if you love the Hobonichi cousin and if you do want to use one for next year, but you are also stressed by the dailies, I have a tip for you. So the thing that has been working for me lately is to structure my pages. So I did create this structure for me where this column is basically almost always filled up with to-dos. And the biggest change for me, which made the use of this planner a lot easier, is structuring this journal page, this journal side. So if we look at other pages, maybe let me find a good example. If you look at other pages in my cousin, for example, this one, I would have a short to-do list which is fine. If you have a short to-do list, then that's totally fine. But I would have a to-do list for the day, just everything in one section, no separation. And then all of this other part of the page would have to be journaling. Now, my goal was to fill up the page. I don't like filling it up to here and then it's empty at the bottom. I would like to fill up every page. So if that's not your goal, then just do you and just write as much as you want. But if you also want to fill up a page, but you don't have the time to journal this much every day, also you don't know what to journal about every day, so that it fills up a whole page every day, I totally feel you. And the thing that helped me was to block out a part of the page which does not need as much text. So as you can see, I have put a daily highlights section with like bullet points. So it's only like a sentence. So it's a lot less that I have to write, and then there is also a lot less space at the bottom where I have to journal. Have to is a strong word, where I journal and I like to journal. And if you decorate the bottom part of the page, there is even less. So if you feel like a particular day there is not much to write about, you can put like daily highlights or whatever, accomplishments, gratitude list, or I don't know, 5 things you wanna learn, or another type of list with like bullet points or whatnot. So that takes up a chunk of this side. And then there is only a small part. And if you don't feel like journaling, you can just decorate this part as well. And then the page is done, it's finished, it's decorated, it looks cute. You have your to-do list or whatever you want to put over here, your schedule. You have your list and you wrote something on the page that pertains to that day. So that's kind of how I do it. And it varies. Like here, I only had like 4 lines to write, and that was fine. There are like some days where it's like more. And then I also sometimes put this stamp for that says grateful for. So I have a little to-do gratitude list. And here I didn't want to write more, so I just stamped more, put a sticker on it. I didn't even write anything over here. So, you know, there is smaller spaces, there are bigger spaces. So it makes it a lot easier to fill them out. Since I have been doing this, I have been using my dailies every day. There is not an empty page since then. So that could probably tell you something about this type of layout. All right, so now the choice is obviously yours. Both of these planners are great for different kinds of people. If you need a bigger selection of sizes, the common planner is definitely something to look into. The pre-order is already over at Sterling Ink for next year's planners, but Catherine said that there's going to be stock of planners for next year after the pre-ordered planners go out. So there's going to be some planners to buy, so no worries. Maybe it's going to, I'm guessing it's going to be possible for you to get a planner. Even if not, it's still a good thing to consider which one you like more, maybe even for 2025. And also Sterling Ink has undated ones, so those work perfectly fine as well. So maybe you can get an undated one if you don't find a dated one. So when it comes to choosing between these two, if you don't mind the quotes and the colors, if you don't mind the miscellaneous pages in the back, if you don't mind that you don't have like actual notes pages that are not dated, if you don't mind the moon phases, the Japanese characters and all that, if you even like those, then go for the Hobonichi Cousin. If you want a simpler planner that you can design the way it fits you, then go for the common planner. Also, if you want goals pages, which the Hobonichi Cousin does not have at all in any capacity, then the common planner might be a better choice for you. So yeah, those were my thoughts on these two planners. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, leave me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. If you have any questions whatsoever about these planners, let me know in the comments and I will try to answer. And other than that, I hope you have an awesome day and that we see each other very soon. Until then, bye!